Alright, welcome to the channel, Holy Goat Customs. I'm Kev. Holy Goat Customs motorbike seats, based in Dorset. Been doing it a fair old while now, and I thought I might start to share how I go about doing it. So in this series of videos I am going to show you how to recover this. Got a nice simple job in today, doesn't need any foam work, it's just a quick recover, so I thought it's a good one to start on. So here we go. Of your seat, so fabric tape, so one now, then we go further back there, and then draw your line across. And obviously, because you get this bend, it doesn't always go straight, so you sort of have to do it by eye a little bit where the curve is, and you don't have to be bang on. As long as you're reasonably close, you're all good with this sort of thing. Not down there, down there. Just have a look underneath, see that it's iron up with the two bolts pretty much all right. In the centre I tend to try and find something to go in between, so I'm going with this lump. I'm a little bit out there, so I'll just bring that across. Just eye it up, as long as it looks reasonably square. It's all good. Remember, it is soft furnishing, so there is a bit of movement. With this one, for some reason the foam seems to pop up, so what I'm going to do, roll of masking tape, I'm just going to get a piece, stick it across there just to keep it down. Bring it round the edge without squishing the foam too much. You don't want to be pulling it right down to the base, because that will screw you up later. So just gently. Right, and what I tend to do is pick my favourite side. I'm going to go for this side. So again, masking tape, without stretching it all, just place it on down that line. Bring it down the front, again not pulling the foam all down really tight, just ever so slightly, just as you'd want it to be with the cover fitted. You wouldn't want the foam squished right down. I mean, this is quite soft foam on this one. Seats that I do myself from scratch, I would use a firmer foam than this. Personally, I think it's a little bit too soft. But this is for an old, I think it's 1960s Italian scooter moped type thing. I can't remember what it's called. I will find out. Maybe put it in the description. Right, so now what I want to do, or what you want to do as well, is just work your way around, covering it in tape. Just gently pulling that edge over. See how I've done that? So you don't want to be bringing it right down close. Just keep it pulled down ever so slightly. Like I say, as if you had had the lever on it, how you'd want it to sit. Just make your way round. around that, tapes it all round, all in sort of one direction. Now what you want to do after you've done that is you want to go in the other direction, just to hold it all together, because you're going to be cutting this and you don't want it to all be falling apart, because this is going to form your pattern. Like that, work your way round. Again, it doesn't matter which way you start, you can start in either direction. As long as you go over it twice in opposite directions, it's not all going to fall to bits as soon as you start cutting it and causing yourself loads of ag. So again, don't start pulling it really hard so it's tight against the base, because it'll start going out of shape quite massively, and honestly it causes so much aggro. You just got to be gentle with it, just so it holds it in place. Almost out of tape. I'm going to have to go to the shop and get some more soon. Do get through a lot of masking tape. Bit extra on the sides. A little bit more on that centre bit just to give it a little bit more strength. This isn't the only way you can go about patterning it, but personally I find this the easiest. I picked this up off Instagram. I used to do it a different way with pins and fabric and all that nonsense, and I saw I think it was a Polish guy, car seat upholsterer, that did this, and I was amazed by it. And it's so much easier, so much more precise, and it just goes right first time. You don't have any problems this way. So that's it, taped up, two directions, one side of the seat. Obviously you want to check that the seat is pretty much symmetrical. You can, even if the base goes out a little bit, so it's a little bit wonky on one side, I tend to go for the slightly smaller side, and then the fabric or the leather will sort of stretch and you can manipulate it to fit the slightly bigger wonky side. So you always want to go symmetrical, don't go covering the whole thing and marking it up as a seat as a whole, because aggro, I'm telling you, you don't want to be doing that. You'll get to the end and you'll realise that it's all pulled round to one side. So now start getting to the fun bit. We want to start thinking about how you want your seat to look, where you want your seams. Obviously being a curve like this, you can't just have it all in one piece of fabric. Well, you could, but it'll look crap. There's no other word for it, it will look crap. So with this, it's gonna have to be glued around the bottom, because it's a metal base. I could drill it out and rivet it, but glue's absolutely fine for this style of seat. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my pen and just run around the edge of the metal base. So that'd be your first seam. So now that's all marked around. What I'm going to do, we are going to put a back border on here, so you're going to have, this part's going to be sewn on. This actual seat is going to be red on top, white on the sides is the idea, as the original seats were, or our interpretation of how the original seats were. So I'm just going to roughly mark up that edge of where I want the fabric to go. So I'm going to bring that round. I think I'll come maybe straight across here. We've got a bit of a point here, so we'll sort of come somewhere near that as a natural place for it to finish. And just check it out, see how it looks. Can always straighten things up after. Now I'm going to bring that edge a little bit further over. It's a bit of a funny shape, this one, for doing two different colours. So I think, see, I could go sort of across here. Like that. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of have a look at it, see what you think. Yeah, I think that'll look alright. Right, so at the front, obviously it sticks up. It's about an inch and a bit here. So you need to go on this top edge here, follow that round until you meet the metal work underneath. And that'll stop this whole front end pulling straight down. It'll give you a nice edge here. So once you're happy with how it's all looking, if you go around, just put little dashes across the line, and these will become your reference points later. So where this one crosses over with this one, I'm going to put one there. I'll put one there, maybe one up there as well. Same round the back. One there, where it crosses over, down here, and then round the base, just put a few round, just so you know, when you sew it all together, you've got marks that you can work from, and as you work your way round sewing it, you can line them all up, and you know that the seat isn't going to end up all twisted and in the wrong place. The next thing you're going to need is some material to mark your patterns on. I prefer to use vinyl because it doesn't twist like a softer fabric. So I've got this cheap white vinyl that I'm using today. I tend to just, whatever I can pick up cheap is what I'll be using for patterns. Right, so get your seat. You're going to need a sharp craft knife, Stanley blade, or just any sharp knife that can cut through the tape nice. And then just cut down your lines. nice and steady, trying to keep it a nice shape. And then round the bottom as well. This can sometimes be a bit of a pain in the arse. What I tend to do is just go slightly over, and then I'll make up for it when I'm marking the pattern out, which I'll show you in a sec. See, slipped off the metal there. Obviously, if you're using lots of different fabrics and stuff, it's a good idea to write on the tape what colour you're going to be using or what type of fabric. There'll be info on there. And I like here where I've cut just a tiny little bit short, like I sometimes put a note on there just to remind me if I'm not going to be cutting it out straight away. So once you've separated all the sections, you can peel them off and then stick them to your vinyl. So I'll get some close-up shots in just a sec. A lot of the time with the top one, what I like to do is, because it's on a curve, you always get this sort of weird sort of twisting going on. So I'll get straight edge, draw a line on the fabric. Another reason why vinyl's good, because you can just mark it with a marker pen, and then line that up with the line, so the centre line of the seat with the line that's on the vinyl, and then just work the edge out. Try not to stretch it. It doesn't matter if you get tiny little folds in it, as long as you don't get massive folds, it doesn't matter, because you'll find so this one's being done in leather. The leather will actually stretch to compensate for that. You just got to remember when you come to sew it that these marks might go slightly out, so you have to sort of manipulate it a little bit to work with that. Alright, so as you can see, it doesn't stick too well, this tape. It's a bit crap. So I'm using these weights just to hold it in place. Then get your pen again, and these lines, dashes that you put on, just go around, remark those onto the vinyl, your patterning vinyl. And then the next thing is you want to allow your seam allowance. So I tend to, I'm not sure how many mil it is, probably about 8 mil or something that I tend to sew at. Everyone uses a different width. You sort of find out what works best for you and your own machine. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit all the way around. And the same on the back here. And what you want to do this with all of the parts, all of the masking tape parts that you've made up. Just do the same thing, and then I'll show you the next step once that's all done. Now what you want to do, let me just move the camera up. All these notches that you've put in it, these, just cut a little triangle where they are. All the way round on all of the parts. Right, so I've got the leather laid out. As I was saying, this one's going red on top, white on the sides. So I've got a bit of this red leather that we're going to use. With leather, what you want to do is make sure you smooth it out when you lay it down. And also look out for any faults in it. Sometimes you get scars, and if you pull it, it'll actually split. So just have a little look at it, stretch it out a little bit, and then get your pattern. So for marking, I normally use these, it's a bit broken, this pen, these silver leather marking pens. But I think for this video I'm going to use one of these chalk pens that you can pick up. I think even like Asda's sell these now. But centre line I'm going to do with a silver pen because it's easier to wipe off. So I'm just going to mark a light line down the middle and then get your pattern, lay it on that straight line. Good idea to always weigh it down so it doesn't shift about. And then the same thing as before, put your little dash marks in first. And then just draw around the edge. And then flip it over, line it up with your centre line. Put your weights on, an extra one on this side. Sometimes curves one-sided at the time, vinyl. So you tend to, one side you have to weigh out a lot more than the other. Dash lines. Draw around the edge. Now sometimes what you find, if you haven't got your tape exactly centre in the middle, when you was first marking it up, masking it all up, you'll notice that it goes out at the back here and sometimes at the front. I'll show you what I mean. I don't know whether this one's going to be good or not yet. So that's it all laid on there. That back edge, see, just getting a slight indent there. So what I tend to do, if it's only a little bit, is just fill it in so I know when I cut it, it's going round. Front is ever so slightly as well. Not a lot. That one was pretty good. So there it is, all marked out with your notch marks on, all ready to be cut out. So just cut round on your line. You don't want to be coming over because you're going to end up making the seat too big, or inside because it'll end up being too small. So as on the line as possible. Just cut that up there so I can get rid of the main part. Makes it a little bit easier to move about. So you'll notice as well when I cut this leather out, I wasn't being careful about how much waste I was getting, because it's an old stock leather that this customer's having on his. So I was just finding the best bit. I'm not too worried about saving the rest of it. It's whatever bit looks best. For leather also, you do need decent scissors. Don't try and do it with your hairdressing scissors or your kitchen scissors. Get yourself a proper pair of upholstery shears and it'll make the world of difference. So once that's all cut out, again you've got to go around and cut out the notches, but you only want to do them really small this time. Basically no bigger than what your seam will be, your sewing seam on the machine, because you don't want them cuts coming through on the wrong side. So that is the top section done. So I'll just, oh, what's the phone falling over? Just so you can see how it's going to look. Lay it on, start getting the idea of how it's all going to come together. Right, the next part is going in this white leather here. I suppose it's more off-white, creamy colour. Vintage maybe. So again, so these are the side panels. So remember, with the side panels, you're going to want one way and one the other. Don't do two the same, because you'll be doing two right hand sides or two left hand sides. It's the same thing again. Let's go find a nice bit with no marks in. Put the pattern on, weigh it down. Just check you can see that. Mark your notches. Draw around the edge. and flip it over and do an opposite. All starting to come together. Side panels are cut, top's cut. Right, so the next bit is obviously this bit round the back here. Some seats you get a join in the back. Personally, I try and avoid that as much as possible, just because I think it looks a bit neater if you can get away with no seam in the back. Some seats you have to do it, there's nothing you can do about it. So this, what I cut earlier, this border, we are going to do a direct opposite join together, which I will show you now. Right, so there's the first half marked out. So as I say, with this one we've got to flip it over. Now again, like with you putting the centre line down that seat, sometimes when you flip it, it's going to go a bit weird, so you have to sort of make adjustments at this point. So what I tend to do is go by, so this is the top edge of the seat around there. I tend to go for making that square. See, down here, here, it's just come in a little bit where the tape wasn't quite straight. Again, weigh it out and then just mark round it. Right, so that's it with the border done. So that's already, all the main parts are ready to be sewn together. So that kind of brings us to the end of this part. So I'll be uploading part 2, which will be the actual sewing, putting it all together. But if you want to see more videos about how to make motorbike seats, give us a like, subscribe and all that nonsense. And maybe I'll think about doing some more in-depth seats, jobs like all the foam work, reshaping, all that kind of thing, gel pads, all the bigger jobs, all your diamond stitching, all that nonsense. Yeah, let me know that you want to see it and I'll make them. Cheers.